It's a special day, which means we're wearing a special shirt. That's right, I'm rocking the Pac-Man shirt again. I don't know if you can really see it, but I'm super duper excited because I'm reviewing a game that somebody gave to me to review, and I'm just really, really stoked about it. Welcome, all fellow wannabes. Welcome to the channel. I am Gabriel Fast. I do claim to be the wannabe critic. Welcome to the first video after the name change from just the wannabe critic. Welcome to Wannabe Critic Productions. You know, this is something like kind of going for more of a broad idea, you know, with the things that we talk about here on this channel. So thank you for those of you who have been with me from the beginning. I'm looking to kind of build something here with, working with other people and collaborating with other people on things, and it's just been a really, really fun ride this almost year in September. So thank you so much for tuning in, and without further ado, let's get into it. Today we're talking about Clash Force, which is a game developed by Spicy Hero Games, and that's hero like G-Y-R-O, not H-E-R-O. It's published by Ratalaika Games, who are pretty much, pretty well known for the work they do in helping indie developers and smaller developers port and publish their games. I reached out to Ratalaika and said I would love to work with them on something, and they said, yeah, absolutely. So they sent me over a code, and the game was provided by Ratalaika. I just wanted to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to try and do something that I really wanted to do for a long time, and it's a really cool step of validation. This is the first time I've ever been sent a game early to play for free, and it's a really cool feeling, to say the least. So thank you so much to Ratalaika. I really appreciate it. I hope I get to work with you again in the future. It was really cool to play through this. I don't want to waste too much more of your time though, so let's get right into the review. So Clash Force is a Contra-esque, Cuphead-esque style side-scroller shoot-'em-up published by Ratalaika Games, developed by Spicy Hero Games, and basically it's a pretty simple story with some pretty simple characters, and essentially it's based off of 80s Saturday morning cartoons is what the description says. But you're basically going through all these different biomes. There's 3 or 4 levels to each area, and as the game goes on, you get progressively, more difficult. That's more treacherous terrain that you have to run into, and there's definitely harder enemies. There's even some, kind of old schoolish boss battles at the end of each area, kind of leading you into the next area. And this game definitely wears its inspirations on its sleeve in a lot of ways. I think it does a lot of things right with its power-ups. You get some pretty cool power-ups they're able to use. If you die, they go away. They are, presented to you basically throughout the entire game, and, you're able to use them at your disposal. This game doesn't really break the mold in any way. It kind of just recycles things that you've already seen in other games. But it's pretty fun overall, and I did enjoy my time with it. That being said, there are some things that I wasn't crazy about. One being, if you are playing this game and you die at any point during one of the levels, you have to go back to the very beginning. Whereas I feel like that's kind of a, especially within other Ratalaika games, that have come out basically. And I know that Ratalaika didn't have anything to do with the development itself, but usually there's a checkpoint in games like this. That way you don't have to go through kind of a stupid part of the level or a really hard part of the level each time. You kind of get a second chance, but that's kind of missing in this game, which made certain levels more difficult. But overall, I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it definitely wasn't trying to hide, leaning into its inspirations in the game that came in the games that had come before. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's good to emulate the things that you love the most and what your inspirations are. And even though there were things that I wasn't crazy about that I wish would have been implemented that were kind of a modern miss, I would say, overall I did have a really fun time with the game, and it's definitely worth the $3 or $4 that it costs to play it. Clash Force is currently available on Steam, but will also be available on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One July 3rd, 2020. So as you could see from the gameplay, it does take from a lot of different other games is what it seems like. I don't want to say there's not a lot of originality there, because I think in order to create things, it does take some form of originality. And, even though there's bosses in there that remind me of like Metroid and also like Mega Man and things like that, that doesn't mean that, Spicy Hero Games is ripping these developers off. It just means that they really love that style of gameplay, and they were trying to give an experience similar to what we got from the good old days. So I applaud Spicy Hero, and I think it's really cool that they were able to do this anyways. So there you go. Thank you to Ratalaika and everyone involved who sent me over the game. I really appreciate it. As far as the score goes, I'm going to have to give this a 7.5. I did enjoy my time with it. I think it does a good job of doing what it's trying to do. There were a lot of irritations. I feel like the difficulty gap, it went from being pretty manageable to just all of a sudden hard, especially after I popped that platinum trophy at the end. It was almost like since I had the platinum trophy, it was like, well, I want to, be able to beat the game to give my full opinion on it, because I felt like it was a doable thing. I only spent about an hour on this game, or a little over an hour, to get everything and beat everything. And my favorite part of the game was actually the final boss fight. And I do think that it's worth getting to the end of the game to be able to experience that final boss fight and, kind of get sent back in time to a period of time where things were just much more simpler. So I definitely applaud everyone involved, and I can't wait to see what you guys shell out for the next time. So what did you think? By the time you're watching this, Clash Force would have come out on consoles. You might have the Steam version already. What was your experience with the game? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Did you have the same criticisms that I had with it? Definitely let me know in the comments below. I think it's a good game. I think you should definitely check it out. That's going to wrap it up for me here at Wannabe Critic Productions. I appreciate you guys tuning in and for sticking with me all this time. I also wanted to mention Pop Cult as a sponsor of Wannabe Critic Productions. They have officially licensed swag on their website. You can go check it out. That's where I got my Natural Light hat. I'm not wearing one of their shirts today, but if you go over there to popcultusa.com, you can use my personal code, _wannabecritic. Get yourself 20% off your entire order and get you some officially licensed geeked out swag. If this is your first time here, I ask that you consider subscribing. It would really help me out a lot, and I just appreciate all the support that's been given. With that being said, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for preparing yourselves for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. I'm Gabriel Fast. I will always be the Wannabe Critic.